oh Santa, my dear. Oh Santa, Christmas carols playing on the air. Oh Santa, you see, a soca Christmas will be nice for me. So Santa,
WEFM, the universe sound.
Voice of the Man, Bongo Prime, representing for Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And good morning to everyone, and we are back with you for another day. It is Friday here in SVG and in many other parts of the world, all right? We are back with you as you get going and you get started with your day. Whatever it is that you are going to be up to today, I trust that you are going to have a productive one, a safe one, and a productive one, all right? In studio, it is, I am Roleza Samuel, and I am joined by...
Dianna. Morning, Roleza. Good morning to everybody. I hope you are having an amazing morning.
And I am over here fighting for their life, folks. This is every now and again, it's a reminder of why when you have to come in for work at 6, you need to get a proper night's sleep, all right? Going to catch up on that later on, just crash right out. You know, sometimes I fall asleep at 6 o'clock and don't wake up until the next morning. Imagine that, eh? This is first sign of old age. When you fall asleep at 6 on a Friday night and you wake up in the morning, all right? Oh, Lord.
That's a good sleep.
Girl, sometimes your body doesn't even give you a chance to figure out whether or not, just take a nap or take a long night's rest. But, they say you can't really catch up on sleep. But, yeah, sometimes you can, and you do so. Yeah. All righty. So we are back with you. So let's get going with our morning. All righty. So just to note that at 8:05, we will be conducting an interview with Mrs. Dora James, the supervisor of elections. All right. So she'll be letting us know some of the things that we need to know ahead of elections day for us as voters. All right. So you would want to stay tuned for that coming up at 8:05. All righty, so let's get into today's discussion. So we touched on it a bit. What day was that? Was it Wednesday? Yes, on Wednesday. Regarding the PM stating that should two candidates in particular on the ULPs, on the NDP side, reference to Fitzbramble and Dr. Friday, that if they were to win their seats on account of them holding dual citizenship, that it will be contested, an election petition will be sent. All right. So let's just take in a clip of that discussion. Oh, Nicole, morning. Sorry, I didn't even notice you there. My apologies. Oh, she just came on?
I just put her up there.
Okay,
Yeah.
Nicole?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
I am well. I miss you all. Good morning, SVG and the diaspora. And everybody's listening online and on the stream.
Okay. All righty. So we enter some local politics, Nicole. Tis the season. All right.
Season.
All right. So the PM, so let me just quickly play a clip for you regarding what the PM has further stated on this topic.
As sure as the sun rises, Friday and Bramble will be challenged in the court if they were to win their seats. And their seats, they will have to leave the parliament if they were to win. They'll have to leave. An election petition, if they win, would be brought against them. And that election petition takes you up, even though it's a constitutional question, takes you up to the High Court, to the Court of Appeal level. It ain't going beyond that. That's how that is challenged.
All right, so we heard the PM saying that if they were to win, that them winning, it will be challenged. So we have a lawyer has chimed in on this matter, and if you wish to read the article in full, it is on Eyewitness News titled "Putting Dual Citizenship to Rest." So this lawyer is Dr. Jason Haynes, who is a barrister at law and solicitor and associate professor of law at the University of Birmingham, UK. He's a national scholar, British chauvinist scholar, and Commonwealth scholar as well. So in his opinion piece and chiming in on this matter, he has stated the following. Qualifications for representatives and senators. First, so subject to provisions of Section 26 of the Constitution, each person shall be qualified to be elected as a representative if and shall not be qualified unless he is a Commonwealth citizen of the age of 21 years and upwards, has resided in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for a period of 12 months immediately before the date of his nominations for election, or is domiciled and resident in St. Vincent at that date. And C, he is able to speak and unless incapacitated by blindness or physical cause to read the English language with a degree of proficiency sufficient to enable him to act as an active part in the proceedings of the House. Continues, indeed, while it is argued that two NDP candidates engaged in a voluntary act, that is, having applied for and secured Canadian passports, requirement, which is number 2, if what was stated before, and that this act was an acknowledgement of their allegiance to Canada, requirement number 3, which was just read before, this is not sufficient to compel the conclusion of disqualification. For all intents and purposes, the article made reference, the opinion piece made reference to a situation in St. Kitts and Nevis with Dr. Denzel Douglas. So he's saying for all intents and purposes, non-Kittitians and Nevisians, including Commonwealth citizens, are considered to be citizens of foreign powers or states. By contrast, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' constitution explicitly and indeed quite progressively extends the possibility of nomination not only to Vincentians, but also to Commonwealth citizens. It means, therefore, the citizens of, for example, Nigeria, Canada, India, or as far as Tonga can, provided that all conditions are satisfied, be nominated as candidates for service as ministers in our parliament. These individuals are not treated as citizens of foreign power of state by our constitution. In fact, our constitution presupposes that the person may have another citizenship that is inherent in a wording or in the wording, a Commonwealth citizen. All right, so it is a very lengthy piece. As I said, he did make mention of Dr. Denzel Douglas in relation to a matter that was brought forth in St. Kitts and Nevis, in that Dr. Douglas had a passport, that a Dominican passport. Now, based on what the PM has said, I do have to ask 2 questions in particular. If they were to win, they being Dr. Friday and Fitz Bramble, if they were to win their seats and if NDP were also to win or be elected into government, what is this going to mean for the installation of the new government? And in this matter being challenged, would this end up putting our country on a hold, or our country on a pause? As indicated before, when we first touched on this, the question that I asked was, why no? Given that they have been members of parliament for at least the last 5 years, right? And this matter wasn't challenged then. Why wait until now that we're approaching the election day itself, to challenge this? And even further, if they are to win, and let's say the NDP is to form government, what does this mean for what is going to happen for the installation of that new government?
I thought about that same one as well when this was brought up and it was mentioned that they were going to take it to court and, things like that. I thought about the same thing. If they do win, what will happen if this case is going on? It seems as though this may just boil down to some wording. So a little technicality here, a little technicality there, the lawyer's going to have to probably be reading a lot of documents and spending more time trying to make sense of the English language just to build up this case. As the lawyer did say in this opinion piece, Commonwealth citizens are allowed to be elected. And then it also says that if then section 26(1)(a), according to this document, says by virtue of their own act, which is the one that we have been seeing, by virtue of their own act under any acknowledgement of allegiance, obedience, or adherence to any power or state, then you probably have to look into what does it mean to acknowledge your allegiance to a country. What does it mean to acknowledge your allegiance to a country who is considered a foreign power to the Commonwealth? I asked Google who is considered a foreign power to the Commonwealth. It says any sovereign state that is not a member of the Commonwealth. Who is a foreign power to SVG? It says generally any sovereign state or entity outside of SVG's own jurisdiction. Then how do you acknowledge your allegiance? Is it a formal or an informal thing? Do you just say it? Do you write it? How does that happen? Is swearing an oath a way of acknowledging your allegiance? Yes or no? I just think it's going to boil down to a lot of words and technicalities and things like that.
Yeah, and I think making the declaration ahead of time, it kind of concerns me in terms of what is going to happen come the 28th, right? Because as many of us have expressed, yes, we have the democratic process of voting. We have that right as citizens to vote, right? And bearing the outcome, whatever decision comes out of it in terms of whoever is elected into office, then we're hoping that is where the matter is going to end and it's going to be put to rest, because all of us want to go into the Christmas season in merry spirits, all right? But to have this possibly lingering over our heads, knowing that, okay, whatever is said is possibly going to be, whatever happens is possibly going to be challenged, then we wonder, is there going to be a little bit of uncertainty coming the 28th of November? So it's going to be in some interesting times. All right. It's going to be interesting times. I have a question to ask you. You've been using ChatGPT to help you with some of these questions. What the things that you were researching? I'll tell you why just now.
I actually used it this morning to ask it a question about, Dr. Friday and Bramble. And then I went on Google. I actually used Google. I took a break from ChatGPT. I used to use that. I still have my iffies about ChatGPT because I understand the data centers and what is used and all that. So I don't really use that much. But I did ask it a question, particularly about Dr. Friday and Bramble. Why have they been allowed to sit here if people are complaining and saying this is the case? And then I just Googled different definitions. Yeah.
All right. So the reason why I asked, right, I have a friend who said he's younger than me, but I saw a post that he made recently saying that young people are using ChatGPT to answer their questions for this election season, right? Because the reason why is that they prefer to be informed themselves. So they're putting the questions in it to get at, so they're no longer necessarily just relying on information that is put forward, let's say by parties or put forward by other persons who, let's say on social media, etc. But they are using it to try to form their own or have their own informed opinions or that sort of thing. So that's the reason for asking you the question.
Yeah, well, I guess it even though you use ChatGPT, it depends on the type of question you ask it as well, because you don't necessarily have to let it think for you. You could just ask certain questions and then you go from there. Same as you could just Google, do the same as when you're Googling things.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we are going to head on out. Time here in SVG, it is quickly approaching 7:35, and we are heading into today's traffic talk.
Nothing